So, is it third quarter, fourth quarter? That's a harder one to call. But second half of the year, we do think that recession comes in, and then it's going to get really tricky for the Fed. Do they respond? They're looking for the unemployment rate at 4.6. We actually don't think we'll be much higher than 4.6. And the Fed, I think, then says, look, inflation's still too high. The unemployment rate is not that high. We're going to stay put. And I think that's going to be really tough for the market, especially risk assets that are looking for that Fed put. The moment we hit a recession, I think that Fed put is much further out. We're looking for all these rate cuts really in 24 rather than 23. So no, we're still looking for that slowdown because, I think we can look at the equity market, but look at the housing market. That's slowing pretty sharply. Real rates. I think all the headwinds for the consumer are still very much there.
This whole curve sinking this morning. We're down 10 basis points on a 2-year to 4.1%. Just broke that level. Your 10-year yield down about 15 basis points to 340. What Priya's talking about here, one of the reasons why Marko Kolanovic over at JP Morgan is still cautious on risk. He says this: we remain cautious on risk assets. We're reluctant to chase the past week's rally as recession and over-tightening risks remain high. A lot of good news is already in the price in terms of inflation moderation or the potential for a soft landing. So this is one for you, Jay. So, Jay, you're in a different position because you were already in the trade and this trade is performing. So the decision you've got to make is whether you stick with it or get out. For people like Marko who haven't been riding this wave, although he does like EM and does like China too, they've got a different decision to make. Do they chase it? Do they get in? What do you say to those people that are on the sidelines here, Jay, that have missed out on this rally in the first couple of weeks of 23?
Well, there are many of those people, right, John? And that's where the majority of people are. And the narrative has shifted so quickly. And, we've been all about speed for the last couple of years here at TPW Advisory. COVID speed, climate speed, conflict speed, now narrative speed. The narrative has shifted. Most people are behind the curve. Look, near term, very near term, things are overbought. If you look at China, if you look at EM, if you look at European banks, they're overbought. So you wait for any kind of pullback, and there's always a pullback. Who knows why? It will happen. And then you need to get in with both feet, because I think this is things have changed. We're now in a different direction. I don't disagree with the outlook that was just given on U.S. equities, right? We're looking for a flattish type year. And I'd remind people that a flat type S&P with a weak dollar is the most positive environment possible for non-U.S. equity. And we believe we're at the beginning of a multi-year bull run for non-U.S. equity versus the U.S. And I just would lay out two reasons why. First, on China. It's really important to understand that it's not just a shift off of zero COVID. China has shifted economic policy, no more bashing tech companies, no more 3 red lines for property developers, and they're pulling back on their wolf warrior diplomacy, reassigning the wolf warriors to some, godforsaken place to do nothing. So this is a sea change in China. China is going for growth. They have the ability to do so. And the second issue is that weak dollar. The weak dollar really drives the non-U.S. Equity markets, and we think there's opportunity across the board in Japan, in China, in Brazil, debt and equity. We have about 20%, John, of our global multi-asset model portfolio in emerging market debt and equity.
Wow.
It's the most bullish I've been on EM in years and years.
Well, it's backed up by the price action now, Jay, in a big way in the last couple of weeks. Equities this morning just a little bit firmer. Priya, you and I need to talk about this rally of the bond market. The 10-year's down to 340. Brief break of that. Your 2-year at 410. Brief break of that as well. We're down 10 basis points at the front end of the curve. We're down about 14 or 15 on a 10-year. Priya, can you tell me where you are now on treasuries? And can you tell me what you think of this move this morning?
Sure. So I think the move today was partly retail sales, partly also BOJ. I mean, last night, the BOJ did not move yield curve control. I actually think it's inevitable. They're going to have to give up on yield curve control. It didn't happen last night. It's likely to happen by April. They're going to get a new BOJ governor as well. There's a global reflation trade. Japan has also seen, higher inflation, higher wages in our view. They're going to have to give up on it. And so I think term premium or, this demand for treasuries that's come from the Japanese investor base, that's going to be less. So I think that's putting some upward pressure on rates. But then we've got this issue in the US where the market's pricing in a recession. I think bonds are a very good diversifier here. If the economy is going to go into a recession, longer term treasuries, I mean, our forecast is 285 for the 10-year by the end of the year. Has it happened really fast? Yes, I think the market's taken the inflation decline, the fact that the consumer is slowing too hard and is pricing that in. I don't think it's going to be a straight line down to 285. I actually think in the near term we can rise a bit in yield as the Fed says, hold on, we are trying to slow things down, and this is intended, and we're not going to stop our hiking because inflation, core services ex shelter, is still high. It's still accelerating, as we saw last week in the CPI report. So I think not a straight line down, but I do think the longer term trend for long term treasuries is lower, and particularly if you well north of 1%, economy can't handle 1% long-term real rate. So I think the long-term trade is lower 10-year rates in the two handle by the end of the year. Near term, I do think the market might be a little too excited that the Fed is done. I think we're going to hear from a lot of Fed officials, and they're going to say, no, we can hike at a slower pace. I see
Now, right off the bat, the markets are up on the session in the pre-market. We've had some economic data come out. You've had PPI come in better than expected, which could be a leading indicator for inflation. So right there, you have had the yields drop off and the dollar drop off, which should bode well for equities in the short term, near term. Doesn't necessarily mean that could continue, but it should bode well for the short term. Now, kind of a little bit of the headwinds. You're seeing some weakness in the financials again. PNC reported they're down. JB Hunt, Transport, they're down as well. So we could see a little bit of weakness, but right now tech is strong. You have the likes of Apple, Microsoft, Tesla up significantly. So a couple things that we're watching on the radar today. UNG is a potential day trade. Full disclosure, I just picked up some here at 1093 long UNG. So we are expecting that to continue to move up as you are into some decent support with the dollar falling. It should boost the UNG natural gas. We're also keeping Tesla on the radar for a short. Tesla's tagging pre-market this major gap fill. Right now you can see the spiders are up on the session, but we'll just keep an eye on Tesla. Just flip to the Tesla daily. And in terms of the level I'm watching on Tesla, let me just erase everything here. Remove. So Tesla pre-market filled this little mini technical gap. That is the spot that we're watching for a potential test of it in the market open. So that level will be pretty decent level of resistance. And like I said, it did test it in the pre-market, so it's likely probably going to test that in the intraday. So we'll keep that on the radar. I'm also seeing a potential, let me just scan through my charts here. PNC Financial is decent. Anything by the 148.42, let's just pull up PNC. So we're just going to take a look at PNC Financial. They reported earnings today, so we may have a potential day trade long as they are dropping significantly. But let's just be mindful that we saw Morgan Stanley drop pretty significantly yesterday. So we have to be very cautious with these financials because there's clearly underlying risk when they do miss earnings. Now there's a little bit of a level here, but one that I would prefer is basically these pivots. Right now we are seeing the spiders trickle down from the highs as the dollar is also trickling lower. The level I have on this is 148.42. $148.42. Now, we do have the wind at our backs with this market, so therefore going long does favor potentially a better risk to reward setup since yields are down and dollars down. And then the third thing we want to take into account now that we know we have the bond market at our back is the fact that we need to take account of the volume trends in the morning. That's always key as day trading. But right now, we're just going to monitor things, wait for any potential setups. Like I said, we have Tesla, PNC. Really, those are the only ones that I'm jumping on my radar. There might be something else. Right now you're seeing natural gas is down, so that was a good sell yesterday. We exited our swing trade natural gas just to re-enter at a lower price. We're about 10 minutes away to the open. You are seeing gold up, so therefore the miners are up. China is actually catching a little bit of a bounce, but remember China was down yesterday. Copper's catching a bounce. It's all commodity plays are catching a bounce, most likely due to the dollar. You are seeing strength in the airlines as well. Weakness in the dollar, of course. Energy, the dollar weakness should bode well for energy today. But it's interesting to see a leader like Exxon, not really responding as well as you would have thought. Oil is into resistance. So JB Hunt reported earnings as well for the transports. That's key because it's a little bit of a leading indicator to the overall health of the economy. Now, it has rallied significantly off the lows, so let's just be mindful of that. It is getting bought up. But Tesla, a Pierce of 137.54 would be a good opportunity. A Pierce of 137.54 for a short trade. For a short trade. 1/6 position is probably key, just because, like I said, these markets do probably favor the long side trade today, but it doesn't necessarily mean we can't pull off a short. So there's a Newmont gap fill. If it retraces all the way up, we can look to short around this 54.30 level. Let's just actually flip to the hourly chart. Or a retrace into this trend line. So we'll just keep Tesla up on the radar. The dollar's still really at support, but it is weak on the session. coming down. You're still seeing weakness in JP Morgan, which is interesting to observe. Bitcoin just had a pretty strong reversal. That's an interesting price action on intraday Bitcoin chart. Let's just bring you up to speed on Bitcoin. So if we look at the, let's just go on the 15-minute. Bitcoin's had a sharp reversal. That's really interesting to see off of resistance. Just take a look at that tail candle. And why? You simply draw a trend line connecting your major pivot high, pivot, 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 pivot. May have a short trade on coin as well. So let's keep that on our radar. A coin short at 55.54 could be potentially played. The dollar's coming down some more. So we're going to keep coin up on the radar for a short. Pierce of this level, this 55.51. We're also going to have Tesla on the radar. Preferably this 139, but even a pierce of this gap fill may be okay. And natural gas is still down on the session, so you can pick it up pretty cheaply here. It is into some good technical support. So let's just keep an eye on Tesla. Just have your market ready. We got 3 minutes to open. We're going to short Tesla if we get a pierce through this gap fill. Coin, a pierce through this 55.50 level. Seeing some potential weakness in Apple coming through. It's interesting to see Bitcoin still putting in a massive reversal even though the dollar's trading near the lows. Apple's coming down in the pre-market, so you're seeing some weakness starting to potentially creep in, which is interesting because the dollar hasn't rallied. Yields are still soft. Tesla's pulling off that high. Coin's pulling off. Bitcoin still has that nasty reversal. Look at that Bitcoin chart. That's coming in hard. For the dollar not to have caught a bounce, Bitcoin's sure coming in hard. So we're just going to wait. We're almost about to open in about 50 seconds. So we're seeing Tesla pull off of that level just a little bit. Perhaps we may get a little bit of a quick pre-market rally up and then fade. But let's just be careful because this could happen fast. So get ready to have your order. Markets are open. Tesla's so far getting a little bit of a sell-off. Let's take a look at coin. Coin is pushing up. Bitcoin's still weak. Spiders remain fairly strong.
Switch to the board, get to the bond market. We look a little something like this. Your 10-year yield lower by 16 basis points. Your 10-year 338.98 on a 10-year.
Tesla's falling, so we're not going to short that. Coinbase is pushing, so get ready for coin. We will potentially short coin at this 55.50 level. 1/6 position. Seeing strength in oil. Coin's coming up. We're getting a little push on the S&P 500. Let's just see what transpires. Get ready for coin. Coin is almost up to that level. Coin is pushing a little bit. Bitcoin's catching a little bit of a bid. Coin is piercing that level in about a few seconds. It's very, very close. So get ready for coin. We're going to short coin. Didn't hit that level yet, just a few cents shy. Tesla's coming in pretty hard. Let's take a look at Tesla. That would have been a pretty decent. The SPY's still trading up, so we may get this Coinbase to push up. Spiders are coming in sharp. I'm going to take a little bit of coin here. 55.25. 55.25 short coin. 55.25. 1/6 position. Look at this pullback. This is beautiful, 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 beautiful. 55.25. Coin's coming back up. Spiders are just holding. We're in the money slightly. Let's see if we can get a little bit of weakness. Bitcoin's seeing some sell side pressure, so let's see if we can continue down. This should help our coin short. The spiders are reversing. The spiders are reversing. Here we go. This is good. Look at this Tesla sell. We should see coin come in heavy now. As we're seeing technology see weakness, we're short coin. Let's see what we can get here. Natural gas is catching a little bit of bid. Coinbase is still just trading. It's pushing back up near the highs. So you may be able to get a better entry. Nvidia is showing weakness, but Apple's showing strength. Tesla's caught a little bit of bounce. I'm going to add to my thing right here 55.74 on coin. 55.74 on coin. That's a 2/6 position. 55.74. Coinbase is coming in a little bit. So my average on coin right now is 55.49. 55.49. Spiders are seeing a little bit of weakness still. Apple's coming in. Bitcoin's still showing weakness, so Coinbase should still potentially come in. Next ad level is 56.15. 56.15. So Coinbase is still just doing its thing, slightly up. The spiders are catching a little bit of a push. Let's check back on Tesla. Tesla's caught a nice little bid. PNC Financial's still coming down. Let's check on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's catching a little bit of a tiny bid. Spiders are seeing some weakness now. They're pushing back lower. So we're still short coin here. Let's check on Newmont. Newmont's not doing its thing. Tesla's still up pretty substantially. Still have meme stocks seeing money rotation. AMC's up, BBBY. So a lot of the spec money. Carvana is up on the day over 8%. That's incredible. Coinbase is starting. We're basically flat on the Coinbase trade. Just seeing if there's anything else on our radar that we can potentially trade.
Beyond that, I think we're asking ourselves what the sort of longer term and health of this industry is. If not an economic recession.
Coinbase is still just hovering. Bitcoin's seeing some weakness, so this is when we should see if the spiders show any weakness. Coinbase will have Bitcoin falling as a headwind. So we're now in the money on coin. Coin is seeing some potential sell side pressure coming in. It is fairly extended. You have to remember it's had a pretty decent run up. Coinbase is seeing a little bit of a bid still. Markets, the dollar might be catching a little bit of a bid here on a 10-minute intraday basis. It could be putting in a little bit of a slight reversal. Bitcoin's falling a little bit more. Tesla's seeing continued weakness. Dow stocks are certainly positive. China's seeing a little bit of weakness creep in, so we'll keep an eye on China stocks as well. Copper's still remaining relatively strong. The dollar's catching a nice little bid, so now on the hourly chart we could potentially have an hourly bottoming tail forming on the DXY. Look at this, we're in the money on Coinbase. Let's see if we can squeeze some more juice out of this baby. So we're in the money. Look at this Coinbase, beautiful. Spiders are reversing hard, so this is helping our Coinbase. We're going to look for about $1 on coin here. About $1 on coin. You can see that 54.49 level is about the cover level. Gold's pulling off slightly from the highs. The miners are reversing. Spiders, look at this epic reversal. We'll see if we go negative and fill this gap. Coming in hard here. Coming in hard. Catching a little bit of a bid now. Bitcoin's still relatively weak. Tesla's had a huge fall. Apple's seeing some distribution. PNC still coming in. Coinbase is clearly catching some underlying strength here. But for how long will it last? That's the question. You're starting to see some weakness continue in a lot of the commodity stocks now. which could be signaling the dollar bouncing, which it likely is.
What we saw in 2022. And so specifically, I think that those names that are really geared towards Asia and the China reopening story are going to be the places that are going to outperform and where you really want to hone in on your bets. And so
Coinbase, we're in the money. Let's see if we can get this cover down here. We're seeing energy stocks starting to roll over. The XLE is showing a great deal of weakness. Tesla's coming in hard, and look at this S&P. It's falling harder. Bitcoin's falling harder. Coin's coming in still. There's even a big support level potentially here, which we could hold to, and that would be a pretty big gain. That would be almost a $2 gain if we hold down there, but let's just see how this market is. It looks like the spiders want to pull, but we're in the money now, deep in the money on coin. Let's see if we can keep squeezing this lemon.
JetBlue even up 31%. I'm not sure about their international exposure, so Erin, that raises the question. Is this a flash in the pan, a bear market rally? What is this on the screen?
Yeah, so when I talk about travel, it's not just airlines.
Battling this area. Tesla's had a nice hard sell. You can see there. PNC might still come down to our level. You can see this 148 long level. Let's check back on coin. Coin's just coming back up. QQQ is coming back up. Dollar's potentially softening. Let's check back on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's still seeing distribution. We're seeing Apple fairly strong. We're still seeing money rotate into memes. The counterparts for coin are like Mara. They're seeing downside price action. So you do favor potentially Coinbase going negative, since the other mining companies in Bitcoin plays are negative on the session. So let's just be patient with this one, and we may be rewarded. Boeing's down on the session. UAL has had a pretty big reversal off the highs. Let's check Tesla. Tesla's still trading down. PNC. Coin, we're just flat on coin. Nothing new to report there. Spiders are pushing up, so coin is not going to fall with the spiders pushing up. The dollar's still potentially rallying, so let's see if we can get some continued action. So you're actually having China break down now. Baidu's making new lows. Baba's trying to break down. The Yang ETF looks like it's trying to go positive. So let's just see what transpires here. Coin's pushing back up. China stocks remain weak. JPM's still down in the session as well. Coinbase is floating, so our next ad level is right over here, this 56.15. 56.15. Get ready to add to coin, 56.15 or Pierce. Spiders are nearing the highs, testing the highs again. Spiders are pushing for new intraday highs. Apple remains strong. Nvidia remains strong. Tesla's still off the highs, but still positive on the session. Coinbase is still trying to, there it is. I'm filled at 56.20. 56.20 short coin. 56.20, that's the third position on coin. Spiders are pushing up. My average on coin is 55.76. We're pushing to the next level here. 56.60 is the next level. So we have a 3-6 position. Spiders are pulling off the highs, so maybe we'll see some distribution in coin. Let's check Bitcoin. Bitcoin's still showing weakness. So let's just see if the spiders continue to sell. Spiders are selling. Huge reversal on the spiders. Volatile market. Great job on that ad level. Just makes our average slightly higher. But you're starting to see big swings in the market here. Definitely some volatility creeping in. China's still showing a little bit of weakness. You have healthcare, which is up on the session. Strength in Vertex, Eli. Spiders are pushing lower. Look at that nasty reversal. Tesla's almost taking this gap fill. So we potentially have a long trade on Tesla. It is high risk, but a potential long trade on Tesla. Let's just see. Back to coin. Coin's pushing up again. What volatility in the spiders. Wow. Insane volatility. Let's see. So we have natural gas pushing up. Oil's pushing up through a key resistance. Get ready to add to coin again. Let's check Bitcoin. Insane volatility in the spiders. PNC's caught a little bit of a bounce. So coin's now starting to come in. Will the dollar put a bottoming tail in the next 15 minutes?
On the latest. Here's the latest on Microsoft. 10,000 jobs to go. The stock is just about unchanged on the session. Dan Ives of Wedbush, bullish on the name, said this is a rip the band-aid off moment.
Let's see if we can capture some of this volatility. Get ready to add if coin pushes up. It could push up through that level.
Storm. Category 5 near-term economic storm and 10,000 jobs to go at Microsoft. More on that through the Down Bloomberg TV and on Bloomberg Radio. Coming up, the US and China.
Coin's still floating. The spiders are still battling this area. Another impressive reversal is UAL. Obviously we issued a short yesterday on the big pop in earnings. This stock is coming in hard. That just shows you that there's signs of people distributing their money into that initial pop. So we're slightly just flat on Coinbase. Gold remaining off the highs. Newmont still falling. We could see Coinbase go negative. I mean, it's had a pretty extended move. You've had 7, 8 daily candles in a row. Look at this move. You factor in how extended coin is, and then you also factor in how extended Bitcoin is. You do favor a pullback. So even if we hold this short overnight, that's not a bad opportunity to capitalize on a bigger chunk of profits. But we're flat. So we're basically flat on coin. It is seeing some distribution. The spiders are weak. A potential bottoming tail on the dollar DXY chart. Yesterday was interesting. We saw lots of volatility in the Japanese bond market. It was really intriguing to watch. Tesla's almost coming down. It's almost given up all of its gains on the session. That's really intriguing to see. Very, very intriguing. That would have been an awesome short. But look at that gap up, and it looks like the markets want to crack. And if Tesla fills this gap, it's likely we see the S&P 500 fill its gap down there too. But let's just continue to wait and see. Coinbase is still remaining just off of our level. Spiders are kind of floating. Yields are still down, but just slightly off their lows. You're still seeing weakness in the gold miners and the mining stocks, weakness in China. Add to our Coinbase here, 5671. 5671. Brings our average to 5607. 5607. Markets are trying to push up. But 5671 is our fourth position on coin. That's 46. It's 46. So this is starting to become a big, big position now. Semiconductors are strong. So our average is sitting at 5607. It's a 4-6 position. Spiders are pushing up a little bit higher. We have another add level at 5710, or a pierce of 5710. Let's flip back to the spiders. Still pushing near the highs. Bitcoin is still not near the highs. So a little bit of a divergence in the strength. Coin is potentially trying to put in maybe a 10-minute topping tail, but we still have to see. Coinbase is still pushing up. Spiders are still remaining relatively strong. Let's see how the Dow is doing. The Dow transports are holding up and potentially breaking out. Nvidia remains up on the day. SMH remains strong. SMH is coming up into this double top resistance, so potentially that's where we need to go before we see the market sell off. So I mean, if we just pull up the SMH charts, it's a thing of beauty. It's just ridiculously extended. This may be a potential short trade as well. I mean, when you have on the daily chart, look at this move on the SMH. Just a straight vertical move. We could potentially short this double top zone. Potential double top short. So if SMH comes into this level, we can potentially short that. That remaining to be potentially a good short. We are in the money on our coin now, so it's a nice big position. So coin still remains to come in. Spiders are trying to potentially come in a little bit more. Now they're pushing up. It's a little bit of a fight going on between the bulls, the bears. Baidu's getting hammered more now. Baidu's down 2.79% on the session and falling. Vips is falling. Apple's seeing some distribution now. SMH is still remaining strong, so as long as the SMH remains strong, we could see continued strength in this market. Let's flip back to coin. Coin, we're slightly flat. Bitcoin's catching a pop. So this coin's taking a little bit longer, but that's okay. That's what happens sometimes. We are in the money though. Markets are still remaining up, positive on the session, up 0.37, but they are off the highs, and the spiders are falling as we speak. BBBY is up still 11.8%. You have AMC up on the session. So we're just waiting on coin. Tesla's almost filled that gap. It's coming into its major gap fill. So that'll be intriguing to see if it fills it today. It's looking very likely that Tesla fills it. Coin's still just fighting this level. Let's take a look at the SPY. SPY's still just fighting this level. Tesla's still trying to come in. Spiders are now seeing some sell side pressure. Coinbase, we're still slightly in the money. We're up about 20 cents, or 10 cents, sorry. Semis are seeing a little bit of weakness now, so this should be a little bit of a headwind for the markets as semis weaken. It typically means the market will follow.
Inflation coming a little bit softer, encouraging some of these moves as well.
Let's just keep an eye on the spiders, the S&P. Coinbase is coming in a little bit more now, as seen with the spiders. So we're still in the money on our coin trade. SMH is coming down. Tesla's still remaining just off of the intraday low. You are seeing potentially another wave of selling about to approach in Bitcoin. And here's the thing. Coinbase could go negative on the day, which right now it's up 3.14%. So we could bank at, there's a strong possibility that if this market goes and turns negative on the session and fills this gap down here on the spiders, we could see Coinbase give up all of its gains, which would be a 3% win in our pocket. Is huge on a day trade. All before hopefully 10:15. We'll see. Just the one trade right now. We're still seeing the markets fight. There's a big battle going on right now in the S&P. You're seeing that this level, that there's a massive, you're inside of this initial hard sell, but this is a massive level. And it's really intriguing because if you draw your little bear flag break that actually triggered yesterday, you have not been able to break above that level. So on the initial move out, you were slammed back down inside of that bear flag channel. Now you're inside of this reversal here, this little doji. So you still technically have not been able to break out of that bear flag. So it just shows you that there is resistance here. Just intriguing to watch from my perspective. Semis are pushing up a little bit more now. Tesla's getting a bid. Spiders are moving to the highs. You could potentially see the spiders want to push to this double top, this 400 pierce. The 4,000 level on the SPX or the 400 level on the SPY is a big level that people are watching, a lot of retail and institutional investors, because it's that whole number, that psychological number, and it is a big resistance level on the indices. Let's take a look at the SPX just to see. So the daily chart on the SPX still signifies and shows we're trading inside of that hammer candle yesterday. We haven't been able to confirm above the 200 daily moving average, and we're still trading under this COVID trend line. So that's what we have to realize, is that even though the S&P and individual stocks are making runs, the S&P is still trading under big resistance. Coinbase is trying to push back up. Flip back to the SPY. Apple's remaining strong on the session. There might be an Apple short trade. Let me just see if I can isolate down. Oh, big push in the S&P. Massive push. Whoa. What a push. Big push. That was Apple. So coin is still trying to push up, but it hasn't pierced our last ad level. We could potentially short Apple at 139.34. Coinbase is still pushing, but the spiders are now reversing off the highs, so this is insane volatility. Absolutely insane. But if Apple for some reason keeps pushing, we have a first resistance here at 139.34, which we will short Apple. Coinbase is now pushing up even more. The spiders are trying to push up still. Next ad level on coin is 57.10 here. Let's see if we can get another push. Insane volatility right now. These big pushes and rips and dumps, it's just causing a lot of volatility and freaking out traders in their positions. Copper's still pushing up near the highs. So we're about just hit the 10 o'clock time frame. Slightly out of the money on coin, but that's okay for now. We've got the spiders trying to still push up. But this is big resistance for the markets. This is not an easy level, and I doubt we'll break through it today. Anything's possible. Wow, look at this Crocs chart. This is an impeccable chart. Let's just flip back to coin just to see how we're doing a potential 15-minute reversal on coin. Let's take a look at Crocs here. Now Crocs, let me just do a volume check. So Crocs does trade over 1 million most days, but it can be thin on the occasional day. But just look at this level. The volume's a bit too thin today, which is why it probably could push up more, but look at this move. S&P's remaining near the highs. Look at this move on Crocs. Now you're coming into these pivot zones here, and this original consolidation and breakdown. So this should be acting as pretty decent resistance on Crocs. Now this is more of a swing trade short. I haven't issued it yet. Potentially there's a gap fill that it might want to fill up there. But that's one we can keep on the radar for a potential day trade if it does push into there. Volume's a little thin. Let's keep the spiders on the radar, seeing some distribution. Let's check Bitcoin. Still just trading off of the highs. So the dollar's trying to push up a little bit. Spiders are seeing some distribution. Should be good for our coin. We're in the money on our coin again. This will be a nice 15-minute reversal if we can get that and keep that candle formation. But so far, Apple's really the only one that's remaining strong. So that's interesting to see that divergence on Apple. And I'm actually getting very curious here on Apple to potentially short it. I'm actually getting very intrigued for a potential Apple short.
And I think that you could see in certain sectors, you could definitely see an earnings recession without as much pain as other sectors.
As long as Apple remains strong, it does give the chance for the spiders to continue to move up. Typically, Apple instills a lot of confidence in the markets. When that mega cap company is seeing money flowing in, it generally trickles down to the rest of the market. But it is options expiration this week, so let's be mindful of that. Lots of volatility, which is why we're seeing exceptional volatility in my opinion. But we're still just flat on Coinbase here. Apple's continuing to push up a little bit. Just see if we can isolate down another level on Apple. So Apple's piercing through that trend line, so it does favor a continued move up, but you are approaching some decent resistance if it can continue to move up a little bit more. But it's remaining relatively strong near the highs. Let's see if it can keep that up. Check back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's getting a little bit of a rally, so that's going to bode well for coin. Let's see if we get a candle close above this wick high. Nvidia remains strong, semis are remaining strong. Gold's just slightly off the highs. Yields are still much lower on the session.
Some of the wage inflation is, even though you're not seeing that acceleration right now in the data, you have to look at, in some cases people are laying people off, and in other places they're having trouble hiring exactly who they want. And I think that if you look at some of the fights that are going on globally about wages, I think that wages could accelerate, and I think that energy prices could accelerate. So I'm not sure that inflation is a one-way ticket up and then a one-way ticket down. I think there's going to be some volatility within that, and I don't think the markets are going to like that, because that's going to give the Fed more reason to continue to raise rates. And I think that that's what's going to play out, but I don't know that it plays out in the first quarter. I think it ends up playing out over the next couple of quarters and maybe into the summer. So I'm not sure, again, that you have that consensus trade that the first half is tough and the second half is all roses. I think it's going to be bumpier than that.
So to wrap up sort of what guys been talking
Another
about
extended chart is Hess. Hess has just seen an impeccable move. Spiders are pushing up, continuing to see some strength.
think it's a sector by sector call. It's not
finally
necessarily
seeing some
the
weakness
same
creep
type
into
of,
Apple.
we're coming out of X and therefore
So that should be
Y,
good for
because you
the
have
S&P to
such
see some
great
money rotation
imbalances
out.
occur. If you look at the airlines right now, I'm not sure that that's the trade that everybody was said at the beginning of the year, I need to own the airlines. And then all of a sudden you've had these great numbers out of them. And I think that that's the sort of, we want to travel and oil prices have come down. So people keep wanting to travel, oil prices go up in the next couple of months. That sort of moderates some of that surprise. So I don't know that it is as, I don't know that we can look back on
to Apple. Apple's seeing some distribution. Spiders are still near the highs there.
Such a pleasure. Coming up, we're going to head to Davos.
Apple's seeing some money rotation, so this is where the SPY gets interesting because now Apple's finally showing first signs of weakness all day long. So the reason the S&P has been able to hold up is because Apple's been showing signs of strength, but now it's showing its real first signs of weakness during this market session. So this is where the largest mega cap company could become a little bit of a slight headwind for the markets. So let's continue to watch Apple and see what transpires. This is a little bit of a nasty 5-minute candle, but let's just look at it on the 15. S&P is still trying to push.
We switched.
We did get a 10-minute topping tail. We'll see if we can get a 15-minute on Apple. That would be great for our trades. If Apple can continue some downside weakness, that would be excellent to see the markets potentially start to roll over and decline. Still weakness in China. The Yang ETF, after being down a few percent, is now positive on the session. We're about 10-10 here, so we have a few minutes left in our stream. Hopefully we can close out a trade here if the markets see some additional weakness, which could be creeping in with Apple. Apple's still coming lower. The S&P is now falling off of the highs. It's looking like we're not going to close above that wick, but there's still time in this candle. Apple's still up. Let's keep an eye on coin. It's approaching our next add level here. Just get ready to add. So 57.10 or pierce. 57.10 or pierce. I'll let you know if I get filled. I am filled 57.12. 57.12. 57.12. That's the 5-6 position on coin. Brings my average to 56.42. $56.42 average on coin. Spiders are still trying to see and fight this level. Coinbase is starting to come in a little bit. That was a good add level. So we have a 5-6 position in coin. We're slightly out of the money. Just slightly. Next add level on coin is around this 57.60 level. And that would mean we have a full position on the short side. So we should be able to see some downside just off of the vertical move. But right now, the market is remaining relatively strong. Just holding steady. Apple's still potentially trying to put in. We got a minute left on this 15-minute candle. This will be a good 15-minute intraday topping tail if this closes here. Typically what you see is a little bit of a retrace of that move, but it does signify that we've at least fulfilled most likely the intraday high in Apple, which most likely means the S&P has also made its intraday high here. Bitcoin, we'll see if Bitcoin can start another leg down. That should help Coinbase float a little bit lower or fall a little bit lower. Apple's coming in a little bit harder now. On a 10-minute basis, Coinbase is trying to put in a 10-minute topping tail. The dollar's trying to push up a little bit more now. The dollar's trying to put in a 2-hour bottoming tail, a 2-hour potential bottoming tail. Still 45 minutes left in the candle though, so lots of time. So the S&P failed to confirm above this wick high, which means it still technically could have an opportunity to retrace down to the low range of this channel. So coin's trying to push back up again. Coinbase caught a nice little bid here. Get ready to add again. $57.60 or Pierce is the next add level. Spiders are remaining strong near the highs, retracing a 10-minute topping tail on the S&P. A 10-minute topping tail is being retraced. You can see here it's a 15-minute topping tail. Doji, it's your retracing now. Apple put in that candle and it's trying to retrace, just like the spiders are trying to retrace. Still waiting on our coin trade. So the markets are kind of just trading in the sideways range. Spiders are not really doing too much yet. Let's flip back to the Apple, the market leader. Apple's starting to come in, so let's see if coin comes in. Right now we have 800 shares, 5-6 position on coin. Coin's putting in. So I'd still like to see $1 in our pocket on coin. Spiders are coming in hard now. So look at the sell. Okay, this is what we're waiting for, the distribution to occur. Semis are kind of rolling over. So notice how we did retrace a bit of that topping tail. You can see here, but now it's coming in harder, a lot harder. Coin, we're in the money. Let's go. Let's see if we can close this. We're at about 10.20. We'll stay with you for a little bit longer. Tesla's coming in hard. It's almost hitting gap fill. Big sell. Here it comes. All we need is Bitcoin to continue to fall now, and coin should get a push lower. Again, we're slightly in the money. We have a 5-6 position. Spiders, big sell. Woo! Big sell coming in. Someone's unloading. Dollars popping. Coin, we're in the money on coin. Let's see if we can get it coming down a little bit lower here. We should see it. That's a big technical damage candle on the S&P. You look at Apple. Apple's coming in. Coin is coming in a little bit harder. Apple's catching a small bounce. The S&P is catching a small bounce. Coin's coming in a little bit harder. Dollar's trying to push back up. Bitcoin's now coming in. So this will be the big question. If Bitcoin takes out that major pivot that it just made intraday, then Coinbase could likely see more and more downside. But massive volatility. This is insanity. We did put a 10-minute topping tail on Coinbase. We got a 10-minute topping tail. That is beautiful. So this is likely the high on Coinbase. You could get a little bit of a retrace, but the likely high on coin is in, and we do have a big level to trade against now. Coin's trading decent volume, 5.2 million shares, so it's liquid as rainwater, being that it's only 10:20 in the morning. So coin's doing a little micro retrace, but no doubt that was a hard sell on the S&P. That was a very hard sell. Coin's still doing a slight retrace. We're flat. China stocks have caught a little bit of a bid. They are trading off of the lows like BABA. Spiders are still catching a little bit of a bounce, but that was still a hard sell-off candle on the S&P. I would find it very difficult on a technical basis for the S&P to take out the highs after that hard dump. Here comes Coinbase going a little lower now. We are in the money on coin. 32 cents, about 32 cents. A little bit more now. Here we go. If the spiders come in hard, we've got almost a full position, 5, 6, 800 shares. 800 shares deep in Coinbase short. We're in the money. I'm looking for at least $1. I want $800 today at the minimum. So we're sitting at about 10.22. S&P is catching a little bit of a bid. Coin's still fighting that 10-minute intraday topping tail. The Dow still remains strong. Very crazy, very crazy. Coinbase is coming down harder now. So anything below this yellow line, basically I'm waiting for 54.42, which is $1. You could probably get more, especially if we see a harder sell in the markets. But coin is starting to come in hard now. You're seeing coin come in hard. Let's go, coin. Give us our profits. That's a nasty reversal. Look at this reversal. You're engulfing the last potential 15 minutes. Well, 15-minute candle, 15-minute candle. So that's 30 minutes of price action potentially being engulfed in the next 6 minutes. That thing is dirty. That's a dirty technical reversal. Look at this drop. Here we go. Here's our dollar. Get ready to cover, guys. Get ready to cover. We could see, if the spiders continue to sell lower, we could see this market or coin fall a lot sharper. Let's tag that gap fill. This yellow line was the technical gap fill, which was resistance, now is support. You can see it's a little micro bounce on coin. The spiders are still remaining positive, so I want to see these spiders go negative, because if we do, coin should roll over that much harder. But we're in the money about 80 cents or so. 70 cents, so we could take $700 profit here, but we're going to hold it a little bit longer. A little bit longer. It's catching a little bit of a bounce. Maybe the markets don't give us what we want, but I think we're likely to see more downside.
It's time for the Bloomberg Business Flash. A look at some of the biggest business stories in the news right now. I'm Ritika Gupta. Microsoft will cut 10,000 jobs this year to cope with an increasingly bleak outlook. The cut represents
coins
about
bouncing.
5% of the software giants.
Coins bouncing, markets catching a bid. Spiders are floating back up. Coins had a decent bounce off of that technical gap. But the big question is, will the bounce continue? Dollar's still trying to fight this level and put in a 2-hour bottoming tail. It still has 34 minutes left. So far, if it closes at this level, it does put in a 2-hour bottoming tail. But yields are remaining near the lows. They're down substantially on the session. Gold is up still. Bitcoin's seeing another little bit of a sell coming in. So let's see if we can take out these pivots. I still think it's very likely that we do. Basically, Bitcoin, what it's been doing is it's been chopping in this rising wedge pattern now for a couple days. And every time you hit the top of the range, you test this 200 daily moving average, as seen over here, here, here. Over here, you had a little bounce. Here comes coin. Coin's falling a little bit more now. Coin's falling a little bit more. We're at about 10.26. Hopefully we can get our dollar out of coin. Let's see if we can get our dollar out of coin. So 55.42 or lower for a cover. Tesla's almost given up all of its gains on the session. Bitcoin's still trying to come down. Pfizer's actually hitting a really good technical level here for a potential long trade. Coin's coming in. We've almost got our dollar. I'm not going to flip away. But Pfizer, we can play it long, basically. It did have a little bounce there. So let me just isolate down a new level on Pfizer. If Pfizer falls to the 45.20 level, you can play that level. It is hitting technical support, a gap fill, but I would want it lower now. Markets are trying to come in a little bit, so this is where we could see coin flush and break this level. This pivot, we need to lose this pivot. But 45.20 on Pfizer looks like a decent potential swing or a day trade long. Day trade long. Coin's coming in a little bit more now. Look at this. We've almost got our dollar on coin. Here we go. Big position. 5-6, almost a full position. We just need one more little flush. One more little flush. And that would be a lovely trade in our pocket. bounce. The S&P's remaining mixed, still trading inside that big candle that dumped. Bitcoin's trying to come down. This gap fill zone though, considering coin is hovering here, considering Coinbase is hovering here, it is likely that we should see it break this level, because the spiders are catching a big bid. Coin's not catching that much of a bid yet. Good little pop on the spiders. So Coinbase is trying to come back down a little bit. Coinbase is now coming in. It's a little bit testing the lows on the session. Let's see if we can get our dollar. We're being patient all day. It just doesn't want to come down past this level. But they say those who are patient generally are rewarded. So this is a good example of exercising patience, letting the price action come to you. Boom. I just covered Coinbase 55.39, 55.39. Covered Coinbase. Beautiful gain. That is a look at this thing come down. You could even get a better $1.02 gain on Coinbase. $1.02 profit times 800 shares. That's over 800 US to us. Congratulations. On that note, Coinbase is probably going to fall a lot lower today based off of the extension move and if the spiders actually take out this level. But excellent job. We banked on that trade. That's good to see. And that's another win in the books for us. Excellent job. A whole dollar on 800 shares of Coinbase. Good win for us. The spiders are coming down, so you could even bank more on Coinbase. But wonderful job closing yet again another winner in our pockets in the live day trading room. That's all we try to do here, is close winning trades, because if you get a winning trade each day, you're certainly going to be making money. And look at this sell on coin. But was that an epic short level, full position? And what did we say? We exercised patience and we were rewarded with a beautiful, almost a full position on short coin. That's 2 days in a row Coinbase has paid us out. So excellent job being patient and using the technical levels and scaling in and using position management accordingly. Well done job. Well done guys, and thank you for tuning in. If you managed to catch this trade with us, please subscribe to our channel. Please give a big like down below, and we will see you in the afternoon for the market session. Take care everybody.